Hey guys, this is Jennifer from the Shooter's Mindset, and we are live with episode 417. We have our co-hosts with us. How's it going, Greg?
Good. How about you?
Going well. Can't complain. If I did, nobody would care. Corey, how about you? How's it going? Did you shoot like 14 matches this weekend?
I actually shot a match with one of our guests.
Oh,
Yeah.
did she beat you?
Yes. That's not even shocking.
That is hilarious. Corey got beat by a girl.
Again, several actually.
Yeah, it's like multiple.
I actually, fun fact, I even built a rifle on site for a girl that then beat me with that rifle.
It's awesome. Girl power, huh?
That's like when Jen beats me with my own guns. It's always fun.
Well, the ladies of the hour this week are the three champions in the ladies division. So we have our gold, silver, and bronze medalists here from the International Precision Rifle Federation. We've got Dakota Wright. How's it going, Dakota?
Good.
We've got Camdyn Powers. How's it going?
Going good. How are you?
Good. And our champion, Payton Grimes. How's it going?
Pretty good.
Very good. They had to come back and, well, Camdyn didn't. She's not back in school yet, but the other two had to come back and get right back to school and get caught up on work. So that just sounds terrible, but I thought it was bad coming back to all my emails at work. I wouldn't have wanted to come back to an assignment. But for anyone that maybe doesn't know each of you, I want to go one at a time and you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into shooting. Start with Dakota.
Hi. I'm from Zanesville, Ohio. I've been shooting for 2 years now. Me and my dad started at just the local bench matches and what was at the time called a tactical match. And we just went from there. It just became our favorite thing to do. And it was every weekend.
That's awesome. So 2 years and then did so well at the Worlds. Camdyn, how about you?
For those who don't know, I'm from Colorado. I am 20 years old and I've been shooting for actually exactly 3 years. I started shooting with my dad as well. We started shooting together at just local matches and pretty soon it became our life. And yeah, so I'm a college student and I work as the marketing coordinator for Hawkins Precision. And I also like to say that, shooting is a part-time or even full-time job at times. So
I can imagine being in school and doing all the matches would be crazy.
yeah.
Totally crazy. And Payton, how about you?
I'm Payton. I'm 18 from Ovilla, Texas. I got into shooting because I wanted to start hunting. And so I went to the Gunworks long range class. And then my instructor shot competition and he brought me into it. So, and then it's just been a long, almost a little over 3 years of nonstop. So it's
Nonstop shooting.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have anything under your belt for your, shooting resume or anything like, I mean, world championship, how many?
2.
2. So this match, for anyone that doesn't know or doesn't follow it, the International Precision Rifle Federation does Rimfire World Championship every other year. This was the first one. And they do a center fire World Championship every other year, alternating. So last year was center fire. This year was Rimfire. And Payton won the ladies division at both. So center fire last year and Rimfire this year. So I want to know from each of you, how did it feel to represent the United States on an international stage, like from the opening ceremony to actually competing, closing ceremony? Like, tell us a little bit about how it felt going through all of that.
It was honestly such a huge honor, and I definitely tried treating it as a normal match. Didn't really try like hyping it up, putting extra pressure on myself, but the opening ceremony was so surreal and like so much fun seeing everyone in one place for the first time, all the competitors, the match directors, everyone who helped out with the match, and just experiencing the match. Being on Team USA was such a huge honor, but then I also had a huge sense of thankfulness because I talked to several shooters from around the world where they were like, yeah, we can only practice this much, or we're limited to practicing at 100 yards, or we can only have, 200 rounds in our possession at once. And so just seeing them come out here and compete and do so well, it was like so cool knowing that like I can shoot whenever I want, but just being able to represent the US and then go and shoot with all of these amazing people that work so hard and the rest of the team who worked so hard, like it was so cool, like such an amazing experience for sure.
How about you two?
It was awesome just getting to represent again. I was really, really blessed to be a part of the experience again since last year, but it's always awesome to be able to share something that I love doing so much with people from all over.
Yeah, I enjoyed, like, my main thing was our squad was absolutely incredible. Like, everybody in it was amazing. So that was like huge for me, just being able to meet all those people and like find out their stories and how they got into it. And I tried to stay out of my head as much as possible. Like, this was just another match. It was just another match that I shoot all the time. It was not a big deal. But looking back, I'm super thankful for the opportunity.
Was there any
That's
moment during the any of the ceremonies or the match that it like hit home like, wow, I'm at a international, like this is the Olympics of shooting and I'm here representing. Like, was there a moment that you realized it or it hit home or anything like that?
It was honestly,
You're good.
go ahead.
Okay. For me, it hit me when the fireworks at the end. I was like, that just got really real. The waterworks were like, woo.
Yeah, mine was actually when I got done shooting the last stage, and it was, I went, put my rifle down, put my bags down, turned around, and like all my family was standing right there, and like it was just like a sense like, oh my goodness, it's here and it's over. But it hit me right then, which was very interesting that happened after it all. But yeah, it was definitely that moment. And oh yeah, waterworks for sure.
Yeah, when we all walked up as a team and they called top USA team for ladies, that was my moment. Like, I was like, oh my goodness, we're standing up here in front of all these people for this, which was pretty cool.
So does that make you, it seems to be a common thing that all three of you, it hit you after the match.
Yeah.
Do you think that your head might have been in the match itself a little bit more than you thought?
Definitely. I think it was honestly like kind of mental protection in a way. That it didn't get in my head that we were at a world championship, or, I met so many people beforehand, but it didn't really hit me until it was all over. So it was definitely like my head was more in the game because of it for sure.
That's good.
Mhm.
Okay. So technically, the match, I know you didn't treat it mentally differently, but technically, was it different than what we see in the US?
A little bit. There was a little bit
Yeah.
of difference.
How
Just
so?
the way they ran everything. Like, there's some matches here that you can't touch the props, but they were very apparent that you're not allowed to touch the props or you get warnings
Okay.
and ejected. So you can't do that. And then you get a 4-minute like preparation time for everyone. So that's a little bit different. And then
When you say preparation, is that from like when you like enter the shooting area, you get all your stuff, or no?
no, like everyone, like they go over the stage, and then they are like, okay, does anyone understand? Yes. Okay. You have 4 minutes to prepare, which is basically getting your positions. Like, so everyone in my squad would
Okay.
go up there, get into every position just to make sure like they were good on height and everything like that.
Right.
So,
But
Okay.
not
So
touching the
very
prop.
much like,
no, not touching the prop, just getting into positions. I don't know if you've seen that. I do that for every stage. And it was really cool to see that everyone else in my squad was doing it as well. And I was like, wow, this is awesome. So we were just
Yeah.
getting our positions right and making sure we were good.
okay. So similar to IPSC, you have 4 minutes to kind of look at everything, but you can't like take side pictures and all that stuff.
Yeah. Well, you keep your parallax
You
though,
could- Yeah, you can.
Okay.
off to the
Cool.
side.
Yeah, and it was I mean, in the US, you could use a mag block or a chamber flag, but there they were so strict about their chamber flags, and like the
Okay.
RO actually had to remove it. Like there was one time that it fell out into my hand, and so I was like, oh, well, here's like how it's already, and I was like, oh, here's it, and he was like, no, 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 I take it out, and so there was that aspect, and
What?
but yeah, I mean, a few things were different. I mean, not
Okay.
too much. All the props were really steady. I do have to say, you know, you'll occasionally go to a match here where their props are unsteady, but there they were all super solid.
Okay. That's good to hear. I hate the wiggly props where you almost have to tripod something. So, what was your favorite stage? What was the hardest stage? And what was the easiest stage? I kind of want to start with Dakota on this one.
Okay. So my favorite stage was, I believe it was L. It was railroad ties stuck upright in 6 different positions, 2 shots. For some reason, I just absolutely love the stage. It was like one of the stages that like reminded me of a stage that we do back home. It's so
Okay.
often. So that one was definitely my favorite. And then my least favorite's probably gonna have to be C, the one we started on, because I had a little bit of a mental mistake. Day 1, first stage, and I go to the wrong position and I'm all messed up, and it was a blast.
Okay.
But other than that, I mean, the way the targets were hung, that was definitely a little different than we're used to.
Mhm.
And then the props were really stable and really nice.
Okay. So you said 6 positions, 2 shots per. Did you have limitations on mag size? Because I know a lot of people run 10s.
Yes.
Yeah.
You could not have any more than 10 rounds in a magazine.
Okay.
They were very strict on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say
What
I don't know if there's a stage that was like hands down my least favorite. There were a few that just I don't know, the wind got me on a few of them, and it was really hard because you couldn't trust the wind flags or really the trees or grass. And Dakota and I, for those who don't know, we were on the same squad, and her and I were
Okay.
talking, and we're like, you have to watch the mirage when the wind picks up because nothing else will give you anything. And it was kind of hard because you didn't have anything to basically confirm what you were seeing with the mirage. So it made a couple
Okay.
stages difficult, but there were 2 of them that I think are tied as my favorite. One of them was I honestly cannot remember what letters they were, but it was the last one. It was 12 shots, 6 positions, and I cleaned it with the fastest time of the whole match.
Oh,
And it was like
nice.
super fun. It was just one of those where you had adrenaline rush, and it was a 50-yard target that it was a pretty good size. So it was just a fun stage. But the second one was, as Paul Dallin would put it, was the hardest match or the hardest stage of the match. It was 3 racks of 3 targets, I believe at 100 yards, 150,
Okay.
and then 218 maybe. But on the first rack, the targets were pretty small. And so I was a little bit worried about them. The wind was picking up, swirling, doing all this kind of stuff. And Paul was like, yeah, you need to have a good wind call. You need to trust your gut. Go up there and just trust your gut and kick butt. I was so nervous. I was I have not experienced those type of nerves before a stage in a long time, but I just trusted my gut. I went up and got an 8 out of 9 on it. Hit
Nice.
all the close ones, all the super small ones, and I don't know what happened after, but everyone started cheering, and the RO started like yelling in a happy sense in Italian
Yeah.
something to his buddies, like he was super excited, and it was just really fun and like a really fun celebration after a hard stage that people were at times struggling with. Some people did great, so it was just a really good stage, knowing that I was coming off of some rough ones. I was really nervous, but I trusted my gut and it went great, so I just had fun.
That's super cool that they started cheering for you.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
There was
everyone was.
a lot of that at this match, though. I commented
Yes.
on the live stream. I said, I love how here there is so much camaraderie and people were really watching each other. Sometimes you go to a match and nobody's paying attention to what's going on up there, unless it's like,
Mhm.
the top couple that are trying to watch each other. But a lot of people don't pay attention. But here, people were watching and were like, you'd be there and you'd hear cheering erupt over there. It's kind of like if like the Masters is here, it's golf. You'll be on the
Okay.
golf course and you'll hear cheering from like way over there, and you don't know what just happened, but somebody did something good. It was kind of like that at this match. Like you would hear cheering and across countries. It wasn't always just an American people doing it. It was, if somebody did a good stage, everyone would cheer for them. It was kind of neat.
It was
It's really cool that you
cool.
didn't they didn't even have to clean it. Like you just shoot well. Like you could have gotten a 7 on the stage and still shot smooth and like a good score for that stage, and everyone still clapped, and that was really cool to see.
It was really cool. Yeah.
My favorite stage was surprisingly the same one as Dakota's, I think, with the one with like the wood with like the with like the you shot off the edges. That was my favorite as well. I don't know why. It was so fun to run, and it was like smooth because it was only like 2 targets at the same distance, and you just do
Mhm.
left and right and then move. That was really fun, especially with the mag change, since you have to do mandatory mag
Yeah.
change. That was cool.
Yeah.
Right.
It was really cool.
And then the hardest one was I thought that was going to be the hardest one that y'all both said was the ladder, the one that everyone cried about. So that one didn't treat me very well.
What was that one?
The ladder that you had to do like 3 or 4 rungs and then go prone, and nobody
Oh yeah.
time. Yeah.
It
Y'all
was
did well with that one though, actually.
4 ladder positions and then 2
Yeah.
prone positions. So you had to go down the
Right.
ladder,
Yeah.
then prone on the left, and then prone
And
on
mag change. So
And mag change.
all
Yeah.
those
It
things.
was. Yeah. When Dakota and I shot it, it was like there was mirage and there was wind, but you can't see it. And yeah, her and I, did we get the same score, Dakota, on that one?
I can't remember.
I think either we did or you got one more than me, and like we were really like, oh man, we should have got a couple more, and because Dad was like, that's a good score for the stage.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay.
Everyone was belly aching over that one. In our Airbnb, the guys were down there practicing. They found a ladder like in a closet or something, and
Of
they were
course.
like dry firing off a ladder and trying to time if they could get it all finished to get it all in. It was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
I might
That
have
sounds
used
like
that
something they
stage.
would do.
I might have used that stage as the bonus stage for my NRL 22 match over the weekend.
Really?
Oh,
I literally like screenshotted the course of fire and then just whited out some areas and put in my numbers. But they had 2 minutes and the targets were at like 102 and 111.
Okay.
And it was still too hard. I should have made it easier for that match.
It's just
It was
making
a hard
targets
stage.
bigger. That's what we do.
Yeah, that was a tough stage. Corey, do you have some lives?
Oh yeah, we have a ton of lives. Okay, so this is one that I also want to know, but Peyton, this is not my question. When is the official Whataburger sponsorship coming?
Oh gosh, I guess I'll have to work on that. I'll hit them up. Don't worry. I'll let you know.
Okay, so for people that don't know, Peyton reps a Whataburger hat, and it's always a clean hat, so I feel like it's a different one.
Oh yeah,
But
I definitely changed hats.
Yeah.
That one was
Okay,
given
maybe.
after or before I went to France last year. My mom had met
Okay.
a marketing guy and he sent me a package because she told him about it and he thought it was cool. So that's why I have
That's awesome.
like, yeah, they sent me like school supplies, like a stuffed animal. It was pretty cool. So that's the hat I
That's
wear
awesome.
now. So yeah, my
That's
other one
awesome.
was like, I needed a rest.
Yeah.
Can we start
What
like one of
is
those
your-
whitehouse.gov petitions for this or something?
Oh goodness. Okay, so the second one is from Robert Badgett. Robert Badgett. I don't know this person. Ask Payton if I have a world championship mags.
Oh, he doesn't. We did not use them. Sorry. I'll bring it back to you in a timely manner. They were back up, but thank you for letting me take them.
Oh, and Todd Firebrands said, "Congratulations, Dakota. I'm watching Matt Hui video. See you just won Northeast PRS Regional. Nice.
Top lady, top junior. Yeah.
Say again.
I said top lady, top junior. Yeah, but
Oh, nice.
I graded.
Doubling up. Congrats.
Got all that hardware.
All right, so ladies, one question that a lot of people want to know is what gear do you run? So we'll start with Payton this time.
Okay. I shoot a Voodoo Action in a KRG X-ray chassis with a Mullerworks barrel, an EC tuner, topped with a Collis DLR, spur mount, flatline ops, Halo X level, and a Bixen trigger. And then I shoot Wee Bad bags, Harris bipod, R50 ammo, and then my ammo box is Project 13, and I have scope covers that are Graybeard incorporated.
I just saw the scope covers. Those are really cool.
Mm-hmm. They're pretty.
Mhm.
Let's go Dakota next.
I shoot a Rimex Action in an NDT ACC with a Collis scope, EC tuner, and Bixen trigger, and then all my accessories on my gun are pretty much Haas and Shield. I run a Fat Boy tripod with the Armageddon gear caddy on it, and all my bags are Armageddon gear. And I also run Ely Match as my ammo.
Very nice, very nice. Miss Camdyn.
I run a Remix Action with a proof barrel. It sits in a XLR NV Pro chassis, and then my bipod is MDT. My trigger is Trigger Tech. My optic is a Burris XTR Pro, and that sits in a Hawkins Heavy Tack one-piece mount. And then my thread protector on my barrel is also Hawkins. And then I run all Wee Bad bags. And yeah, and then my ammo kind of varies, but for the match, I shot Center X.
Very nice.
I do love my Center X.
It's so good.
I'm gonna be so sad when my lot is gone and I have to drive back to Ohio to retest it or something.
I know.
It's like one of those
Actually,
things.
sorry, I have a question about that. Two of y'all are running tuners. Camden, you said you're running straight thread protector.
Mm-hmm.
Have y'all noticed that you can get different lots of ammo to shoot well with a tuner without having to go to a test center?
Yes, absolutely. That's why me and my dad got them to begin with, because at the time we were shooting a whole bunch of different lots of ammo, and we wanted the tuners to tune down our groups, and they absolutely worked.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Huh.
Let's see.
Not have luck with tuners.
I personally shoot a suppressor. So I don't believe in tuners because
Fair
you
enough.
like look at the amount of carbon that builds up in a 22 suppressor. Like there's no way it's going to be the same throughout even a match.
There you go.
Yeah.
That
But
is a
I've always been
valid
curious.
concern. I definitely notice with mine because I also shoot a suppressor, and I have my lot tested ammo. But I notice not so much the barrel getting dirty, because I tested that over the weekend unintentionally.
Right.
I had time to clean a barrel and forgot about the can. Was like, it'll be okay for one more. But as the mass of the suppressor increases, my groups widen up a little bit.
Yeah, we've had guys like fill a can and rifle the entire can through. Like what, as the bullet is rifled, it'll rifle the carbon, and it'll like take a month to clean. So stay on top of that.
I thought I was bad. Yeah, and you can
Still
kind of
sounds
see behind me.
great.
Mine's kind of messed up from cleaning because I put it in. I was like, oh, simple green. Like you can technically drink this stuff. Like nothing bad will happen. And I might have accidentally left it soaking in it for about 4 days.
But it was
Nice.
clean.
It was clean.
There you
Ish.
go. Mission accomplished.
Yep. So we're about at the midpoint of the show. Remember, if you're watching us live on Facebook, ask any questions you may have in the comments section of the video. We'll ask it live on air. Other ways to catch us, you can always check back on the Shooter's Mindset Facebook page. The videos stay up there forever. And we usually upload to all of the podcast apps the night after the show. Then finally, everything eventually ends up on the Shooter's Mindset YouTube page. So that's a great place to look at past episodes, as well as all of our coverage from the IPRF International Precision Rifle Federation Rimfire World Championship. That's all up there. We kind of grouped it all in a sub category of it. I forgot what they call them. So that's all there if you want to come check some of that stuff out. If you're gearing up for a hunting season, you're going to want to listen closely. We've got an offer to tell you about that could score you up to $750 in gear. This amazing promotion is brought to you by our friends at Christensen Arms. If you don't know Christensen, they created the first carbon fiber barrel back in 1995, and they've been making world-class rifles ever since. Now through October 31st, when you buy any eligible Christensen Arms rifle, you can send their team a simple form with your original receipt. Once they verify your purchase, they'll email you an electronic gift card good for up to $750 on their online store, which is stocked with premium accessories from Christensen, as well as amazing brands like Loophole, Mystery Ants, Half-Face Blades, Uncharted Supply Company, and more. Go to christensenarms.com to take advantage of this incredible offer.
So one thing y'all touched on before was how everyone was really enthusiastic when someone did well, and it didn't really matter who it was. But how was it shooting with people from other countries? Like, what were the big differences, and what did you take away from it? Peyton's on my screen. I know it's rough with 3 people.
It was really awesome. Because my squad was all ladies and then one senior from South Africa. So it was really cool to see all different ladies from everywhere. And a lot of them were newer. And so it was really cool to see them, like, how well they did and them improve throughout the match and everything like that. And then trying to learn from watching other people. And it was really cool to see. And it was a lot of camaraderie, and we had each other's backs. We were trying to spot. Not everyone had a spotter, but if there was a dispute, we would always back each other if we saw it. And it was just really cool to have and to see all of that.
Were you, so you shot for a long time, and you mentioned that they're newer. I've seen you at matches, and you're typically going to be helping a new shooter, especially if it's a lady there. Were you helping them like through the match?
Yeah, they would, if
Okay.
they would ask questions about why I was doing something, like I'd tell them, and they would come up to me with questions, and I'd gladly help them.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you exchange jerseys with anyone?
I did with Sophie, I want to say Guiley from
Oh, the little
France.
short one from
Yeah.
France.
She had some real bad height issues with props. I hated to see it, but she did really well. She hasn't been shooting that long either, and it was really cool to see how well she did.
She was adorable.
She was so cute. Yeah.
What about
it
you,
was-
Camdyn?
It was really cool. That was one aspect that I was like, there are going to be tons of different countries there, but seeing it in person was so different than what I thought. And it was so cool seeing the different team camaraderie and how, like their shooting styles were slightly different or what gear they had and didn't have. And so it was really so cool. And they were so supportive. And, it was one of those things where they're like, oh, the US team, the US team. And so it was so cool to see their excitement for the sport. I feel like it was very refreshing and
Mhm.
new. I mean, support from anyone is awesome. And seeing excitement, whether or not that's in Colorado, out of state, but it was so cool seeing it on an international level. And yeah, they were so awesome. And I did shoot with Dakota, which I loved. But besides that, we had two ladies from Great Britain. Besides that, they were different people, and it was cool to see them talk to their teammates in a different language. And yeah, it was such a cool experience for sure.
So you mentioned gear differences. I'm assuming a lot of the rifles were different just based on region. But what else was different gear
Um,
wise?
I noticed actually, at least in my squad, were bags, and like a lot of
Hmm.
people didn't have like big puffy rear bags.
Okay.
There was a lady on our squad who just shot an udder bag, which I don't see very often here.
Yeah.
Um, I know actually there was one stage where one guy didn't shoot with a bag. Um,
Okay.
That was interesting.
Bold.
I think he kind of regretted it at the end, but yeah, it was really cool to see how
Okay.
everyone used gear differently. I did know my big puffy bag that I took was asked to be borrowed a couple times. Just I think some people saw me using it, and because I
Yeah.
am more petite, and so it was all these ladies that were almost my exact same size, and so they're like, "Hey, can I use it?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go use it. Like enjoy it." So yeah,
That's super
Mhm.
cool. Got some use on it.
Yeah.
What about you, Dakota? What do you think was different about, I guess, shooting with people from other countries? What was it like?
So honestly, going into it, I expected like nobody to talk to each other, nobody to like socialize or help out each other out. So like
Right.
beforehand, prepped by like going and shooting in squads by myself with a whole bunch of people that I didn't know. Like I did that for a few weeks beforehand just to like get that feeling. But then when we got there and everybody realized like, hey, if something were to go wrong, you would need another team to back you up, like another
Yeah.
country. And that changed everything. Everybody was so nice. Everybody helped each other out. We were all on glass for everybody. And
Yes.
there was questions or anything I answered. Like for the most part, pretty much every single time I shot after I was done shooting, I tell the person behind me my win calls, what worked, what didn't. Like I was
Yeah.
entirely open the entire time.
Yeah.
That's so awesome to hear that it turned into a positive thing. Because so for people that I guess don't know, can you describe what the targets were like there compared to here in the construction? Because they're not like what we normally see in the US.
So they were like welded to a bar, like hanging in the sky. So
Yeah.
they didn't like move or the tiniest little nicks didn't really show up like they normally would. And the
Right.
spotters, for the most part, seemed pretty green when it comes to spotting. So for the first like whole day, there was a lot of arbitration.
Okay.
Yes.
I will say all of the countries across the board were very passionate about everything being fair. So you could hear there were different stages where an RO would miss something, and the people that were spotting that were different countries, they had no skin in that game to help that
Yeah.
shooter. They'd be like, no, that was an impact. They hit the right edge. And the RO would be like, it was impact. And they're like, yes, it was. I mean, they were
Yeah.
like adamant. Yes, it was. I saw it. It was right there. He saw it too. And it was
Yeah.
just really neat to
People
see.
got
Like
so
people could have been like, I don't see nothing, to try to win. But I was very
Yeah. Yeah.
impressed with the amount of passion in having it be fair and having it be accurate.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
people were fighting for each other.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, going into it, like I didn't know how other countries were going to be. So I was like, okay, I'm shooting with Dakota. We can have each other's back. Oh, within like 2 stages, I was like, oh my gosh, like these people are so supportive. And like my first stage out, an impact was not called. And like 5 different people on my squad were like, yeah, impact, that was an impact. And Great Britain, though, I do have to say, they had our backs like hardcore. The Great British team was so awesome. Like, they were legit.
That's so dope. That's so good. That like
Also,
the
pat our
fairness.
back. We just got to throw that out there. Thanks to the Great Britain team. Every time we turned around, one of them was like, "Do you need some water?
Yep.
Get someone to go run and get you some lunch." They were so freaking supportive of the shooters mindset, and making sure we could be there on the stages.
Their snacks, like, they all had candy, and it was
Yes, shout out to Ryan for keeping us
Uh-huh.
hyped up.
I have my straws that he brought me over there. They're in my little snack caddy.
That is hilarious. We had a couple of lives. I know one that is definitely on this topic is William Conlon wanted to know what country appeared to be your favorite group to hang out with or talk to.
Great Britain. They were just so nice, like so supportive, and I'm also a sucker for their accent, so it was great.
I love this so much. Just hearing them talk behind me, it was like, oh my goodness.
It was pretty neat. Greg, are there any more lives to read?
Yes, there are quite a few. We got that one. Todd wants to know how many rounds a week were you guys going through practicing before Italy?
I wasn't.
Sucker for dry fire, so I don't really do live round much.
And I don't dry fire my Rimfire. So my preparation was shooting a few matches prior. So
To be honest, I don't know. I shot a lot. I wish I would have done a little bit more dry fire than I did, but I don't know, probably anywhere from, I was averaging 400 rounds a week, 500 rounds, not including matches.
Nice.
I don't know.
Nice.
I honestly don't know. My ammo stash was disappearing at a very rapid pace, which was not good. Like between all the matches I was shooting and stuff. So yeah, it was a lot. But it was so good.
Down with that. Let's go.
Let's see. Travis said, what's something that y'all experienced that made an impact that was different from other Rimfire matches you guys have shot in the past? Like, I guess, what's the thing that's going to stick with you most when you're 46 years old and you're looking back on, standing up on that podium? What's the one thing you're going to remember the most?
I really think it was all the passion I saw from every single shooter there. And like what we just got done talking about was the team camaraderie and how everyone had everyone's back. Like there was never not a time where a shooter was rude or a shooter withheld information. Like just the openness and the kindness that was shown to us was truly amazing. And not that I was expecting them to all be very closed off, but just the abundance of positivity and kindness was amazing. Truly a lasting impression and lasting memories for sure.
definitely the people. What she said, it's like, it's seriously amazing to see people from everywhere having everyone's back and just making those relationships and having them be proud of you and you being proud of them. It's like I just met you, but I love you,
Yeah.
I also loved like the courage from, because a few of the shooters, it was like their first match ever, or like they'd only shot in two, and they showed up, they put their head down, and they did what they knew to do, and it was incredible. Like they were so brave, and because I would have been like freaking out if it was me, but they pushed through and they shot amazingly.
One of the new shooters, I'll read a comment I guess it's kind of a comment, not a question from them, but for anyone that doesn't know, I know that sounds crazy that the World Championship, there were people there that had not shot much, but in the US, this sport has grown and it's very big, and we have children and women and a lot of people shooting rimfire. In other countries, it's very much so a sport in its infancy. It's just getting started.
Right.
Some countries only had 1 or 2 shooters to send because it's a lot of money and they just haven't, the sport's not that big yet. A lot of the countries have a lot of rules and laws that make it very difficult to shoot. And so a lot don't shoot there. Some don't allow juniors. If you're under 18, you're not allowed to touch a gun or shoot a gun. So some of the divisions, like ladies and juniors, had some newer shooters in it because of that. And I know one of them, Jaroslaw, commented that he was supporting, which we loved seeing him and talking to him at the match, but he was supporting Isa from Poland. And she shot with Payton Grimes in squad 8. And that was absolutely awesome how the shooters support each other and how excellent atmosphere was during the whole competition. It was a great opportunity to watch you all, how you performed particular stages. Thank you. So that was his comment, but I know she was one of the newer shooters and did a great job. Some of the new ladies, man, they tore it up.
Mhm.
They showed out for sure.
Great Britain ladies, some of them
Yeah.
were brand new and they did great.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
It was
They did
awesome.
awesome.
So in 2 years, we better watch out.
Yeah, definitely.
So we mentioned about how much y'all were shooting, but what was it really like trying to get prepared for this match, both skills wise and making sure that you were good, and logistics, like getting everything over there? Just kind of in general, how was it? Was it stressful? Was it a lot different than other matches? What all was it that you had to do to get ready to go?
It was, I do have to say that it was quite a bit of paperwork, and it was one of those things where going over there, we wanted to make sure we didn't miss anything because we didn't want to get in trouble with the police in Rome or anything like that, or have to spend multiple hours in the Rome airport trying to get stuff figured out. So just making sure we had all the right paperwork, and I mean, tons of people were making sure that we had everything to make it as smooth of a process as possible. But that was something that was kind of a little bit more stressful, and of course just making sure that your gear and your gun got over in good fashion and that all was good. And I was so ready to go out and shoot that first day in Italy just to make sure that my gun was good and everything was going on and it was sighted in. So that was, I mean, it was all fine. Like my case was in perfect condition, but it's still that like I need to shoot, make sure it's all good. But beforehand, I just prepared like I did for any match. I treated it like a 2-day match and didn't really think of it as a world competition because I didn't want to get that in my head mentally.
What you two?
I was the same. I did not think about it as a world competition at all. I did not want that mindset. I just blanked out there. Hold on. But it was extremely stressful for me because like I'm the kind of person that I need a list for everything. Because if I don't have a list and I didn't check everything off, I'm having a panic attack. So I was like filling up notebooks of lists of things that I needed to bring and like don't forget this. And I was stressed out like the whole time. But once I got there, it was perfectly fine.
I actually had a list of lists.
Yeah.
Oh yeah?
And I didn't even bring guns.
You had a Starlink though.
Yes. Which Jen did an awesome job of getting there safely.
On the way home, I almost had to jack a stewardess, but it's all right.
Like, and it was like 1 or 1.5 inches bigger than carry-on size, but like flying there, we were not going to risk like throwing that under the plane because that's the one single item that if that disappeared, our entire plan would just be kapoosh.
Yeah.
To the point that we had to make Damien carry it because my son, when I put it on my back, he was like, Mom, that thing looks huge on your back. You can tell it's too, you gotta put it on Damien. He's bigger than you and it looks smaller on him than it does on you.
Pro move.
Uh,
So did any of you, well, we got to hear from Payton too.
there was a little bit of fear, like going just worried about if the stuff wasn't going to get there, like you said. So I was like very anxious about that. I was like, what if my gun doesn't get there? What if I didn't bring a set of shooting clothes? So what if my luggage doesn't get there? So I was a little scared about that, but it all got there fine. And going there surprisingly wasn't hard. It was leaving that was the difficult part. And they were just very strict about us leaving with everything that we came in with that they didn't have a problem with. So I was like, oh, okay. And then they also had that weird, like on our plane back, they were like measuring our carry-ons. And I don't know if they did that for y'all, but they made us like check bags because our carry-ons that we always carry on planes that are the right size, they made us check them because they were too big. So that was a little tough. But mentally wise, since I didn't get to practice much, it was just I wanted to go shoot and have fun, any normal match, and just not have that pressure in my mind.
Did any of y'all have an experience with, I know last week we talked to the juniors and I think it was Lily. Was it Lily or Jaden that accidentally left some rounds in their bag? And in
That
their,
was Lily.
yeah,
Yeah.
and apparently the Italian police were not impressed with that, and she was pulled aside for quite a little while talking.
Wow.
So none of y'all had any experiences like that?
Had a hidden Powerade bottle that I packed in a pocket in the new backpack they gave us. They were like, this bag has a water bottle in it. I was like, no, it doesn't. I was like, and then they finally they put all my stuff all the way back through, checked it all. They were like, okay, everything's good. They didn't even flag the bags like every other airport does. Like I took them out and everything. No. So they were like, yeah, this has a water bottle in it. I'm like, where? Like, if you can find it. They went through it and they were like, and I was like, I didn't even remember putting that in there. So yeah,
It
that
was different. We didn't even have to take our shoes off going through TSA.
Yeah. No, they going out of room, they kind of pitched a fit with my rear bags. I just carried them on out of habit, and the lady was like, you can't have these, they're not allowed, you can't have them. And I'm like, listen, I've traveled a lot with these and they're coming home with me, so who do I need to talk to? But she went and talked to someone and then came showing back and was like, you're fine. So then my family took them, and yeah, but she was like, you can have these. Oh yes, I can.
It's definitely interesting. Like I've flown within the US to matches. I've flown to Wisconsin and Arizona and Wyoming, different places that I've flown with my gun. And that I feel like is stressful enough. But then to do it, having to go through customs and international, and yeah, it's a lot. I try and get direct flights because I don't like them I don't like them moving my gun from plane to plane.
Yeah.
It's just another opportunity for them to, oops, forget to get it on there.
Like my suitcase on the way home.
But yeah, you know, going internationally, you almost have to have more than one flight unless you happen to live right next to an international airport. But yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Man, those bags, I'm kind of jealous of those. So Bagara donated like the coolest little bags to this match. They're like backpacks / messenger bags / briefcases. It's like, man, if I only shot better, maybe I could shoot this match and get one of those. So at matches where there's some sort of a live scoreboard going on, there's always two types of shooters. There's the shooter that will insert their chamber flag and sprint to the TV to see where they stand after that stage. And there's the shooter that will turn off Facebook notifications and put their phone on silent until the end of the match. did you guys watch the scoreboard at all? And when you did you feel it added more pressure to you?
I've learned that personally, I don't like watching the scoreboard, and I did absolutely everything I possibly could to not look at the scoreboard and not where it was. Thankfully, I was able to get through the whole match without knowing, but
Someone's muted.
Can't hear Camden.
Uh-oh, there you go. I for, for a 2-day event, I've like never found out my score, never done that. But I was going to range on day 2 when the open class in the youth were shooting. So I was like, you know what? I did find out the score, but in my head, they were just 2 completely different shooting days, 2 different competitions. So it didn't get in my head. But during the match, I did not look at it. I could tell my family was looking at the score. You know, they were behind me, like looking at their phones, going like, ooh, you know, and I'm like, wow, you guys really need to watch the facial expressions. No, I'm kidding. But no, it was, I appreciate all y'all's work for the live, you know, all the live stuff, but I wasn't watching.
Sometimes when y'all were going up to shoot, I was like, and now we have Camden Powers going, who's currently in second place, like trying to turn around because I was like, yeah, I knew you did not want to know. All 3 of y'all were like, do not tell me. And so I would ask, do you want to know where you are? And y'all were like, nope, 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 nope. Ignorance is bliss. I'm good.
For that
So I'll be
stage,
like
I heard-
reporting and I'm
yeah.
trying to sneak.
I heard you behind me. She's like, and Payton Grimes, and I heard you go, whoa, and you turned around. I was like, dang it, because I'm one of those that I want to hear the score, but I know that I don't need to hear the score because it's just gonna add more pressure. Because I'm like, I just want to know how I'm doing. I want to know how I'm comparing, but then I'm like, that's not good because it could go either way, and then it's either gonna get in your head or get in your head, you know. So
Yeah.
I didn't look at it throughout the match until the second day. I was like shooting solid and I was like really just curious of where I was at, and so that was the only time. But I was like, at this point nothing's gonna like get in my head enough to where like I was shooting so like well for myself that I was like, you know, if I'm not in a good place, then I know that I'm like I did my best, but like that's all right. You know, I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, it makes total sense. It's always weird shooting in a match and you want there to be scores because you want people to like follow it and you want people to see it. And like you want other people that are just there as your parents to watch. But I'm the same way. I'll never open like the competitor app and practice score and like see where I'm at. So I always feel like for the shooters, it's never really a great thing, but for the family, it's like amazing.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree with you. For
I
sure.
think it's very funny that because our sport, I think, is one of the few that you can kind of be blinded during it. Because you think about like
Yeah.
golf, they have big scoreboards and they're now, you know, I mean, they're gonna
Yeah.
know where they are because there's big, huge scoreboard up there with everybody's scores. And then like other sports like track, well, you see the other people, you know where you
Yeah.
are, you know what you have to do to reach it. I feel like this is one of the few that you just don't know where you are unless you look, because everything is so spread out and you don't see the other competitors going, unless you're like on the same squad and you're you're
Right.
kind of close because you've watched each other shoot all day and you're like, well, we've got to be close, you know.
even if you look, the stages are different, so it almost never lines up until the end of the day, and even then until the end of the match if it's a 2-day, because it's like everyone's shooting different stages, everyone shot them at a different day, and then you still have a whole nother day to go off of. So
Right.
So there's like 80 lives on this question, and everyone wants to know what was the best food you had in Italy, because I feel like that's the most important part of the trip.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the most important part of the trip too, and unfortunately, the food did let me down. I am going to be honest with everyone here. It was not good. You had a few good items, really good meat, but I think it was the region we were in, possibly. It was just not as good as food as I was picturing or also hoping for. So, yeah. I mean, we did have some good pasta here and there, but yeah, it was not. The coffee was good. I did say coffee and chocolate, spot on.
Okay.
But
Okay.
but the food was a letdown.
Did you get any gelato while you were there?
Yes.
Yes, yes. I
That was
had
probably the best
I
part.
first tried like some mid gelato, but then when we went to Rome, actually there was some really good gelato there.
There were some hit or miss places. It just really depended on where you went and what you got. Like there was one in Rome that we ate at that like it was really good. It was like a little, I feel like it was a hole in the wall kind of place. And then like right
Mhm.
next to it was like a gelato place and it was good too. And I was like, this is where we need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So my favorite thing would probably be the gelato. If not the breakfast at our resort, that was also incredible. But other than that, I was not that impressed with the food. Honestly, it was just a lot of pizza, like a lot of pizza. And
Perfect.
I love pizza.
I was happy.
Well, it looks like everyone that was in Italy is no longer watching, and we're getting a lawsuit. So, yeah, I'm sorry, William. The food was not great, apparently.
I thought the food was good.
Yeah, I would go back and literally do nothing but go restaurant to restaurant. But we targeted places kind of off the beaten path, and we put a lot of thought into it. And I think I enjoyed every meal that I ate.
I heard you had 2 lunches.
On one day, we did have 2 lunches. We had we took the long way from Rome where we landed into Umbria where the match was. It's like a 2-hour drive. We took it in 5 hours, and me and Damien, Jennifer's husband, decided that the only logical thing to do, because we couldn't decide if we wanted to eat in Rome or if we wanted to eat like halfway and eat food from a different region. The only
Mhm.
logical thing to do was to have a lunch in Rome and then a lunch halfway, which turned out to be a winning choice.
Checks out 100%.
Something like that. So let's talk about goals. Where do you go from here? So y'all medaled at international competitions. And like Payton, you've gotten 2 world championships. So like what do you make as your goal now? Where do you go from here?
Well, I think I'm gonna shoot the finale. I think that's next month, I want to say. So I'll shoot that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's gonna be tough managing shooting in school. So just trying to shoot as much as I can. But I'm gonna be really focusing on trying to keep my same mindset, just shooting and having fun and not worrying about the pressure and anything like that. And I think that's gonna be my best bet going forward.
Yeah,
Me-
I go for it, Dakota. Go.
For me, upcoming is ARS finale, and then PRS finale, and then just finish out the season in 22, and then hopefully next year start off with Centerfire and hopefully do good in there.
Oh, fun.
What caliber are you going to think about doing?
A 6 dasher.
Atta girl.
Choice.
Yeah, my goal in definitely not counting down or anything, but in 3 weeks I'll be heading to Texas to sell my Texas
Oh, you
friends.
are? Yay!
Yeah.
I was like, I like your shirt.
And now we have 5 girls on the show. We literally did. Yay!
I know.
I was acting surprised, Jen.
Yeah, which I'm looking forward to. I'm shooting Centerfire, and then in November I am going to Utah to shoot a NRL 22X match there and see all my Utah friends. But yeah, school is starting up for me in a month, so that'll be another big focus in my life. And going into the next year, I'm just really wanting to shoot, have fun, try Centerfire, Rimfire, and then also my dad and I are wanting to be match directors. So we're trying to get
Oh.
something going at Cameo in Grand Junction, Colorado. So stay tuned for that.
Really?
Say
Yeah.
what?
Is
Yeah,
that
there's
22s or Centerfire?
22s. There's some
Okay.
stuff going on in the works there. So keep you guys updated on that for sure. But
Big news dropping
yeah.
here first.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, just school, shooting, have fun, family. So,
That's awesome.
That's exciting.
Well, the president of the USPRA, Greg Bell himself, commented and said, "I can't say it loud enough how well these ladies performed and represented the US and Italy. Thank you for promoting these well-deserving ladies."
thank you, Greg.
And speaking of Cameo, and for those of you that don't know, the 2025 International Precision Rifle Federation Centerfire World Championships, I'm going to have to start practicing saying that. I'm real good at the 2023 one. Is going to be
2024.
24. Did I say the wrong number?
Oh, you said 5.
You said
It's
5.
4. 2024.
Centerfire.
That's like I said, I need to practice saying this. I'm going to go in my bathroom mirror and I'm going to write it on the
Federation
whiteboard
Centerfire
marker.
World Championship.
Anyway, yes, that is going to be hosted. Oh, I'm reading 2 different things at the same time.
We're just proud you're reading, Greg.
I'm not really. I was going for Centerfire thing, but we're talking about the 2025 Rimfire World Championships in this question. Do any of you plan to try and make the team for that year? And if so, do you have any particular plans or processes to make the team and prepare for it?
Hopefully, that is what I'm also working towards. I really have not looked into next year in a plan at all, but we'll definitely be putting a lot of training into it as much as I can, and picking my matches well and trying to do my best and have fun with it.
I'm still praying about it. I don't know. I don't know what the future holds. I don't know really what the Lord's plan is, but I know that if I'm meant to go, I will go and I will enjoy it. But right now, I really am just soaking in everything that happened in Italy and just, I think I'm going to take it a little bit slower for now.
It is definitely my goal and my plan to make the 2025. And in preparation to do so, it'll probably just be shooting matches every weekend per usual.
Good. I need your dad there. So when it gets really windy, he can help me hold the umbrella. Because he saved me on the last day. I'm literally like, we had the tripod, we had to have umbrellas. And I know people are like, well, just put the umbrella down. No, if we put the umbrellas down, our phones overheated and then there was no more live stream. So you had to keep the umbrella and you had to angle it to make sure that the sun was blocked from being directly on the phones. So like we've got these umbrellas like on a little stand, they're like beach umbrellas and tilted. So it's covering that. And I'm going between 2 stages. So I keep having to move my camera, and I've got the microphone, and I've got the iPad with scores on it that I'm trying to update. And the iPad also has the squad list on it so that I could try and figure out who I was saying when they came up, because they would literally just walk up and I'd be like, that's a South African jersey. Let's see. Okay, there's one South African on this squad. Okay, yep, that's him. Last day, we kind of knew him, but it was difficult, right? We didn't know all the shooters, so we were trying to say people's names. And so I'm like juggling the iPad, the microphone, moving the camera, moving the target camera that's on the binoculars, between the targets as y'all shoot. And then the umbrella starts like inverting and like almost falling. At one point, I'm like holding the umbrella under this arm because it's like loose and about to fly off. and I'm trying to do this with the binoculars, and I've got the iPad under this arm, and the microphone's laying there, and I'm trying to talk in it. And Mark came over and he's like, "Do you need help?" And I was like, "Yes, hold the umbrella." And so for like an hour and a half, he stood there and held the umbrella so I could direct the cameras, and it was a lifesaver. So if anyone wants to, in Cameo, be the umbrella holders for me and Greg, we each need one. And Damien probably needs one too, because there were times he was trying to hold his umbrella over the electronics and do all of the things he had to do. So yeah, if anybody wants to, you can apply at theshootersmindset.com.
I was gonna say we could call them we can have cameramen or camera people to
Yeah.
handle the if we have one person doing camera and umbrella, and then like another person talking, keeping track of scores and this and that and the other thing. Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, shoot us a message if you want to be a camera person at Cameo.
That's right. We'll pay you 50% of what we get paid. Just
I
telling
feel
you.
like this is a great junior, like learning experience internship type
There we
job.
go. There we go.
Corey,
Just
you have
remember
interns.
that
Can I have some?
50% of zero is still zero.
Greg, yes, I have interns. I will sell them to you.
I don't
No,
think
but
you're
he
allowed to
really
sell
did
people
help.
anymore.
He really did help, so we appreciated that. But do we have any more lives?
Mike Bell just raised his hand.
Raise your hand if you're sure.
He's I think he could be a camera person.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. Greg Bell said for any of those that are interested in 2025, they're currently working on the selection process. We hope to have that announced within about the next 4 weeks or sooner. Keep an eye over on the United States Precision Rifle Association Facebook page for any information.
Yep. And just in case anybody's wondering, like, how do they pick where they go? The countries have to submit to the IPRF. I'm part of all that in the background, and they have to submit like a proposal. It's not just like, hey, yeah, I want to have that at my range.
Right.
Like, it's a pretty substantial submission where they have to talk about logistics and their gun laws and how they would, feed all these people, and is there lodging nearby? So there's a lot that goes into these countries putting out a proposal for it. So
Yeah. The feeding is really big, but also how do you get the countries that have those laws? How do you get an invitation that their government accepts so they can get their guns out?
mhm.
Yeah.
It's very big. Any more lives, or are you just stuck on thinking mode?
I'm very thinking mode. Sorry.
Greg looked like he was in deep thought, so I couldn't tell.
No. Tyler Orth said, very impressive, ladies. Well done. And William said
Tyler.
that Corey's interns are incredible.
Yeah, they are.
There you go.
I need an intern.
No guy.
All right. Well, if that's all the lives, I think we can wind it down to shout outs. We normally start with Corey.
All right. Texas Precision Matches for getting me my dream job. Prentice Wank, hit him up. Weebad for keeping my cheeks comfy. JP Rifles for the awesome rifles. Federal for primers. Vortex Optics that I'm not breaking. Hunter's HD Gold for the bitch and shades. Ben Steger Pro Shop for the discount codes. And the interns for doing all the work setting up matches now. It's really nice.
Greg, how about you?
I wanted to shout out the people that helped bring us to Italy to bring this match home for people around the world. Masterpiece Arms, our title sponsor, would not have been even remotely possible without the help of Phil and Lauren over at MPA. Vortex Optics, Armageddon Gear, Hunter's HD Gold, Manners Composite Stocks, and Warren Scope Mounts. And these are all not only the people that advertise on our stream to, again, help us bring us over there, but they're also awesome products that I use at every match I shoot.
All right. How about Dakota?
Randy Rachel Precision. He does all my gun work. Amazing dude. Coloscopes, MBT, Fat Boy Tripod, Haws and Shield, Eric Cortina tuners, Gunline, and then when I go into Centerfire, Shooter's World, Sierra Brass, Sierra Bullets, Alpha Brass, Lone Peak Arms, Brux Barrels, and Benachowski Designs for all my designs, and of course my dad, who sponsors it all.
Good call on that one. Camdyn, how about you?
First and foremost, the Lord, He's made it all possible. And then my family, they're my biggest supporters. They've seen me in my highs and lows. I'm so thankful for them. They were all there in Italy, and they're absolutely incredible. To Burris Optics, Hawkins Precision, OBI, and We Buy Gear. They're my sponsors, absolutely amazing. I'm so appreciative of all their support. And then, of course, their gear that keeps me running. But then also to Colin Fawson, XLR, Pikes Peak Precision, and so many more who supported me on my road to Rome. Between all the fundraisers that I did, you guys made my trip possible, and I'm so thankful for each of you. To Dakota, her and I shot together, and for those of you who do not know, we actually tied. I ended up being here for time, but I love how we work together. We definitely challenge each other to do our best and behind each other's backs, and honestly, it was so great shooting with you, and you're such a great shooter. And lastly, to Greg Bell. He has done so much for so many. He put the team together, and I'm so thankful that he entrusted me with a spot on Team USA. And he's done so many behind the scenes, up on stage work, and he's truly amazing. I'm so thankful for everything that he has done and is doing for the next year.
All right, Payton.
First off, I want to thank my parents and my family for getting me there, as well as Dan for filling in for my dad since he couldn't make it, and just my inner circle and everyone that supports me. And then my sponsors, which are Collis, Redbeard Gunworks, Flatline, KRG, Vixen Andy, Bullet Central, Monterey Sniper, Weebad, SNS Precision, Spur, Alpha Brass, Impact, and then my Project 13 ammo box and Graybeard scope covers. And I also wanted to thank everyone who contributed to my raffles, that I wouldn't be there without them. For the companies that put in product and everyone who bought a ticket, I seriously can't thank you enough for supporting me and believing in me, and everyone who's had my back along the way.
That's awesome. I know there was a lot of fundraising to go on in the background. It costs a lot of money to get over there. So, and then I just want to shout out the three of y'all for being such great representatives of the United States over there. I know our whole ladies team was great with helping some of the other ladies out that were kind of newer shooters. I had multiple ladies that came and told me how great the Team USA shooters were with helping them out. So congratulations for being great shooters and great ambassadors of the sport, because I think y'all did both and represented well for us. So appreciate you for that. As Greg said, all of our sponsors that helped get us over to Italy. We're kind of gearing up, looking at our next thing, which will probably be AG Cups. So we might be hitting some people up again. So you don't want to miss this opportunity. If you want to get buy a commercial slot, reach out to us. And we are going to work on getting some funding to be able to go and cover the AG Cup next. And we'll go from there to see what's next after that. And then I just want to say next week we are going to have the open winners on. And then the next week is episode 419. And we're going to have a mystery guest, and y'all can guess who would possibly be on episode 419, because that's not a number that's anywhere in any precision shooting companies. But anyway, the company that's on might have that in the name. So something to look forward to. So anyway, that'll be a wrap for episode 417, and we'll see everyone next time.
Thank you.